Good afternoon, everybody. I'm Joseph Womack. I'm pastor of the Savannah First Seventh-day Adventist Church. I want to say welcome to you. How are you? I'm standing to you speaking from the lovely green cathedral behind our house. We have a really nice house with a really nice backyard, and then behind that we even have a little bit of woods before the other subdivision starts over there. So I got kicked out of my house today because there's a lot of activity going on in there. So here I am out in the woods because I wanted to share with you my weekly video. You know, we're living in a world that has changed. This coronavirus, this COVID-19 has changed the world, and it'll probably never go back to the way it was, much like the ways that Pearl Harbor changed the world, much like the way that 9/11 changed the world. Some things have never gone back to the way they were pre-9/11, and that's probably the way it's going to be with this virus as far as cleanliness and hand washing and how many people allowed in certain buildings and distancing. I mean, who really knows how this is all going to turn out? Even now in early March here in Savannah, things are just starting to open up, as I know they are across the country. There's a lot of fear and hesitation about going out because we really don't know if that's the right thing to do. It's a balancing act between our economy collapsing and people dying. Very serious times in which we live. So then the question becomes for you and I, how do we maintain our personal health in this time of virus? We can't just let the world go out of control and go out of control with it. We have to maintain in our humanity that we can adjust, that we can be more than just someone who is reacting to everything. We can be proactive. So proactively, I want to share with you how and ask you, how can we maintain health in this time of virus? So I've been doing this series at the church and sharing them briefly with you in the video. The first week, I talked about that God has called us to be real, to admit that we live in a real world where there is darkness, where there is death, where there is danger, and that God walks with us through those dark times. He doesn't remove people from them. He walks through the dark times, through the valley of the shadow of death with us. That was week one. The second week, we talked about how God has called us to be uniquely who we are. Each one of us is not called to be the same as the other person. He has wired us to be different, whether it's male or female, or introvert or extrovert, or rich or poor, whatever it is. He has created you to be fully you. He has made you and stamped his thumbprint of approval upon your life. You just need to give yourself to him and say, God, change me to be this man or this woman that you called me to be. Thirdly, last week I said that God has called us to be focused, to not get distracted by the things around us, but to focus on what he has called us to do in our unique calling. What has God called you to do? Stay focused on that. That might mean to stay true to him. That might mean to stay focused on helping other people or being a teacher, whatever it is. Stay focused on what he has called you to. This week I want to talk to you about how God has called us to be trusting in him, not just trusting in anything or anybody, but to trust in him despite the circumstances of our lives. We say sometimes that we can't trust people or we can't trust things unless I can see it and touch it. I can't really believe it, I can't trust it, but that's not really true. We trust a lot of things throughout the day that we don't know where it came from. We are just believing that it's true and accepting it. For example, when you go to a restaurant and you order some food, let's say you order a cheeseburger and fries, you give your order to a server, and then that man or woman takes that order and puts it back into the kitchen, and then from that point on, you don't know what's happening back there. I've worked in restaurants 7 years. I know the kind of thing that happens back there. Let's hope that sanitation and those kind of things is there, but you tell somebody, I want a cheeseburger and fries, they go back to the kitchen and they tell somebody, this person out there wants a cheeseburger and fries. That person does something. You hope they're taking clean burger and making you a cheeseburger and fries on a fresh bun, not dropping it on the floor, etc. And then this person comes back and puts this food in front of you, and then you pick it up and you eat it. That is trust. That is faith. You might say, well, I can't trust anybody. You just did. You trusted that this person took your order. You trusted that the person or people back in the kitchen had your best intentions at heart, and they prepared your food well and with clean hands and so on, and then you took it and you put your very life into their hands. That's trust. So don't say that you don't trust anybody. You get on a plane, you don't know that pilot, probably. You put your entire life in their hands. You walk across the street. When the light turns red, you walk out into the crosswalk, and you assume that these people who are barreling down on you in these steel vehicles are going to stop. Why are they going to stop? Because up there's a little red light which tells you can cross in this crosswalk. So you trust that they see the light. You trust that they're not texting. You trust that they're not drunk. You trust that their brakes work. You trust that their reactions work, and they're going to stop. That's trust. So why is it so difficult to say that there's a God who we can trust in the middle of this world, no matter what's going on? We need to learn to trust. And how do we learn to trust? We realize that God is trustworthy. If you trust in something that's not worthy of your trust, then you have wasted your trust. If you give your wallet to somebody and say, watch my wallet while I go into the swimming pool, and they're not trustworthy, they're going to clean out your wallet and take all of your stuff and take off. But if someone is trustworthy, then you could trust them with your life. So we need to learn that God is trustworthy. And that's why Jesus says, come unto me, trust me, come unto me, and I will give you rest. And what I have to give you will be light and will make your life better. And that's why he says, consider the lilies of the field. Look around you. You'll see that God takes care of the sparrows, that God clothes the lilies. And if God cares for all of these things, won't he care for you too? So it's not a matter of what we trust or are we able to trust. It's who are we trusting. So I would tell you that to have good health in this world at this time, you have to go to the Bible and read it. You have to dwell and pray upon the person of God, his holiness, and you have to say to yourself at some point, my God is holy. My God is trustworthy, and I can trust him with my life. Now, what would that look like? That might mean that as you go out, you have in the midst of the fear, you might have just a little bit of confidence and hope that he'll watch over you. That might mean that you say, I don't know where I'm going to go with my life, but I'm going to trust him. I feel like I can go back to school and be more than I am. I feel like I can get married. I feel like I can change jobs. I feel like I can stop worrying so much. I can stop being so anxious. I can stop being overwhelmed by the circumstances of life. And I can just trust in God. To be fully me, to live in the real world, to stay focused on what he's called me to. It all ties together. We can have health in the time of virus. We can have good mental health, physical health, financial health, spiritual health, emotional health. All of those things are tied together by realizing that God has made you, created you, and loves you. Did you know that? God loves you. He loves you with an everlasting, unchanging love. So in the midst of everything that changes, realize that God does not change. He called you. He loves you, and he is trustworthy. He is worthy of your trust. So even if you have the tiniest bit of trust, the tiniest bit of faith, you can bring that to him because that's enough. And even if you don't have any, you say, I don't have any, but I trust you to give me the faith and the trust that I need. One man said once to Jesus, Lord, I believe, but help my unbelief. I know I'm weak. Let me be strong in you. So that's my message today. Learn even at the smallest, most simplest, weakest level to give trust to God. Not because you're so strong and you know how to trust, but because he is trustworthy. And no matter what you give to him and trust him with, he'll make it better, he'll take care of it, he'll protect you. So God bless you. Remember, if you've been watching our church or if you're a member of our church, we've started live streaming our church services on Saturday, the Sabbath at 11 a.m. right here on Facebook. And either this week or the next week, by then we should have it up and running where it'll be live streaming on YouTube also. We're just waiting to get the right equipment and getting a hookup. We have a great team of people that are accomplishing all this. In like a month, we've put this entire thing together. God bless them. I had nothing to do with it. They're just telling me what to do, and I do it. So God bless you. If you need me, you can call me, you can write me, you can put a message or a note underneath this posting, either on YouTube or on the church Facebook page. Anything I can do for you, you let me know. So this is Joseph Womack, pastor, signing off. God bless you.